on there. One there. Yeah, you can't really. You got a couple on the back. And the back's quite scratched where people put stuff on and drag it off the boot lid. So this section will benefit greatly from the machine polish. A couple of scratches there, damage on that area. Fair bit of, not a lot you can do with the car parking dinks. And you've got quite a bit of tar built up around the bottom of the car, which is quite normal that you can remove. Showing scratches. So on there you can see a bird poo mark if I put a ring around it and someone's tried to scour it off.
Oh yeah.
That's over polish from the machine, and there's more of it just over in there. It's where someone's like machine polished it and just not finished the job properly. Yeah, so this is TNG or tar and glue remover. It's called TARDIS. Just going to spray it on the bottom lower part of the car to dissolve any tar deposits to remove prior to machine polishing. This dissolves the tar and any like road contaminants that are stuck to it. So on hot days, when you're driving along, it sounds like you've just driven through a puddle. That's all the tar melting and sticking to your car. Up here. So you just leave this on for a little bit. It's just there with a spot of tar. So you just spray that on, and there's a little bit down the bottom. Let that start to dissolve, and then you just wipe it with a microfiber cloth, spray it off, dry it, and then you can clay bar. So once you've taken that off, you'll clay bar the car to remove any embedded impurities that are inside the paint. So there we are, our tar and glue remover.
Is that bigger on the inside?
Yeah. So now the tar and glue's been on there for a little while and it's dissolving all the deposits, we're just going to use microfiber cloth to just wipe over and get the worst off before we wash it off and then start to clay bar. Removal is then just wash off any other deposits left from the tar before you go into the clay bar. So just a bit of traffic film removal on the bottom of the car, spray it off and dry it. So the clay bar is, for want of a better word, it's like a ball of plasticine that removes embedded impurities in the paint such as tree sap, road dirt, bird muck, stuff that's stuck in the paint, like fallout if you live near a railway, stuff like that. It takes it out of the paint, leaves you a nice fresh paint finish ready to polish. So the clay bar mitt is basically, it's only not come out very long. It's obviously a mitt that you can wear, as you can see. It's waterproof, so your hand obviously stays dry. It's got the clay bar material on top of the mitt. So as you run it over the car, any impurities get stuck to that and you can just wash it off afterwards, which is a really good invention. The other alternative is the original clay bar. Basically it's just like a block of plasticine, and when it gets dirty with impurities you just keep folding over it on itself and it's self-cleaning, so any impurities just come out of that. So you can either take your choice really. When you're using a clay bar you also need something to help the clay bar move over the car. You can buy all the fancy other products, but honestly the best thing to use is a squeezy bottle like that with just 1 or 2 drops of soap to help the clay bar glide across the top of the paint. If you use just water, you're going to get swirl marks in the paint and it's an absolute nightmare to try and remove, and your finished product will not look very good. So what we're going to start doing now is we're going to use the clay bar mitt, which is a lot easier, and you can also use it to bend to get in any like little crevices and that in the car. So we've got our bottle of lube, so all we need to do is spray it on the car, because you're going to use this as like a glide surface, so the mitt can glide across it and pick up any impurities from the paint. So you can hear that. So as you come onto a new surface of the car, actually it might be better with that down so we can hear. Yeah. So as you come onto a new surface of paint, you'll hear it start really scratchy. And the more you work it, then it goes back to just pure paint, as you can hear. So as we come onto this surface, it will sound really rough. And that roughness is all the impurities coming out onto the mitt. So as you come across to this surface, you can see the little impurities there that's in the paint. And again, if you want to go across it, you can hear it. So when that dries, all you're going to be left with now is a sterile paint surface ready to either hand polish or machine polish to whatever finish you want to, really. And it gives you a much better finish because all the impurities are now on the clay bar, not on the car. So after the clay bar, obviously it leaves all the lube on top of the car, which you can machine polish over, or you can just gently wash it down with a low pressure as opposed to blasting it, get it off, dry it, ready for machine polish. So once we sprayed off all the lube off the car, then obviously we just need to get the excess water off, ready for the machine polish. You need to identify like the type of the paint and any damage like scratches and that to the paint. So there's different things you can use. For this one we're going to use quite a heavy cutting pad because there's quite a few scratches and marks on the car. We have different types of compound here. So you've got heavy, medium and super finish. So that would be like a 3-stage machine polish if you wanted to go that far, using the different pads and then finishing off with a fine pad and a fine polish to give it a good buff. But in this case, we're going to use a heavy pad, cut pad, because there's quite a few marks and stuff in the paint because it's an older vehicle, so you want to try and get back to a good layer of paint. So we're going to use the adaptive cut, which goes from big particles down to small particles the more you work it. So it's like a 3-stage machine polish in one. We're going to use quite relatively low speed. So number 2, so you don't burn through the paint or anything. So when you are machine polishing, you've got to be careful of body lines like that curve there. If you spend too much time on that curve, you'll wear through the paint down to like the primer or the layer below. So you have to be careful of like lines of the vehicle. So if you've ever had a machine polish or even a hand polish, sometimes if you do it in direct sunlight and it looks like you've got swirls everywhere and it looks like a giant record, we can get rid of that with the anti-hologram stuff. Because what a lot of people tend to do is when they polish their cars is like do the circles as opposed to doing the lines. So the machine polisher will do the circles, but when you come to take it off the car, you need to go lines the length of the panel to blend the polish in so you don't get those marks on the car. And like I said, if you do get the marks on the car, then we can remove it for you. Polishing stuff that's in a gully, you need to be careful of that line and that line to make sure you don't wear through the paint in order to get that scratch. So what you would do, rather than keep it flat, you would angle the mop to use just the very edge of the mop to try and get that line out. So I mean there's quite a visible scratch there at the moment. wipe that back so we can see what we'll be looking at. There you go. This part, and the lights are just starting to go on a turn. So before they need like a full restoration, you can try machine polishing them, like machine polishing it back a bit. So that's what we're going to try and do here. So if you look at that headlight now compared to what it was before, like with the reflection of the lens, and then you can look at this one that obviously we haven't done yet, you can still see a really noticeable difference. Here you can really see it. So on the worst part of the car, where it's been hit, obviously there's some pretty deep scratches there, so you have to pay quite a lot of attention to that and do a lot of machining there to get that back and to get the scratches out. Obviously there's not a lot you can do with a dent, but we can get it looking a lot better than it does now.
Go. It's just a slight line, but not much.
Yeah. So
It doesn't, you can't see as much as that dent.
No, the dent will still stick out, but that's the reason you use the water as a lubricant, because there's folds there. You don't want the mop running on a corner and then burning through. So now that we've machine polished the whole car, you can still see that obviously it's covered in compound, so we need to go over it, wiping it down with a clean microfiber cloth, doing lengths of the panels. And we won't know if any further machines needed until you come across to that particular panel. Then you can rework that and just repeat the process as many times as needed. So once you've taken the polish off, you just walk around the car. Any little things that you're not quite happy with, that you think, okay, that will come out with the polish, you just work that area again, wipe it off and keep working it until you're happy with it. And once you've done that, then you can call it a day.